Hello everyone and welcome back to another horror game news video. Today we have some more news for the new game by Tarsier Studios, the developers of Little Nightmares. So last May, I briefly touched on a teaser that Tarsier Studios had released for its mysterious upcoming project. This teaser originally contained this abandoned looking building, this car on a lonely highway, and some sort of Lovecraftian abomination sitting on top of a roof. In the roughly 10 months since that teaser had come out, Tarsier Studios had been more or less silent, revealing no new information about this game. That is until just a few days ago. On March 22nd, the Tarsier Studios Twitter account posted this image with the caption, "New World, emphasis on new." Taking a look at this image, we can see a small boat in a vast dark lake paddling up to these looming enormous rocky cliffs that stretch off into the distance. Inside the boat, you can see a group of 3 or 4 people holding a lit torch, the only thing illuminating them against the thick fog. Now, this teaser looks very similar to the Tarsier Studios Twitter banner, which appears to be from this same game, also depicting these looming rocky cliffs, a lake, and someone sleeping next to a tent and a campfire. Now, I would like to draw your attention to the caption of the image, which, as I mentioned earlier, reads, "New World, emphasis on new." Now, this could just be the developers trying to really nail the point home that this game has nothing to do with Little Nightmares and is set in a completely different world, despite the visual similarities between the two games, but I'd like to think that this could possibly mean something else, and maybe have implications for the actual story of this game. What if this was meant literally, as in the world itself of the game was newly created, and someone or something, some sort of omnipotent entity in the game, was the thing that created the world itself? As for the actual implications of this on the game, it is way too early to tell, because again, we know next to nothing about this game. So that's definitely just a piece of unsubstantiated speculation there, so please don't take that too seriously, but I think it's an interesting caption nonetheless. So even though this game is not set in the same universe as Little Nightmares, as if you remember back a few years ago, Tarsier Studios actually sold the Little Nightmares brand to Bandai Namco, the game's publisher, and some have speculated that since then it has been picked up by a company called Supermassive Games, as they were the ones who provided small updates to Little Nightmares 2 throughout 2021. But knowing Tarsier Studios, we can guess that it may be a similar type of game overall, in the sense of it being about a tiny little creature trying to survive against an enormous world. Since it seems that there are multiple little people depicted in this teaser, we can hope this game might be multiplayer, although I know that in the past Tarsier Studios have said that they believe that adding multiplayer to a dark atmospheric game takes away from some of that experience, which I personally disagree with and think that multiplayer horror games can be just as scary as single player ones and can actually add a lot to the atmosphere, fun, and replay value of certain games. As for what the gameplay of this game will be like, really nothing that we've been shown so far gives us too much of an indication for how it will play out. But I think it is a relatively safe bet to say that the gameplay might be similar to Little Nightmares, with a sort of very scripted out puzzle game style, although I would really like to see a game in this style that takes on a more survival open world aspect, with a lot more freedom and choice given to the player. And it does seem that this game will be pretty expansive, as so far we have not just been shown these rocky cliffs and lake with these little people trying to survive, but the rest of the content that we have been shown for this game also depicts, as I said earlier, this rundown shack in a swamp with the monster on top of the roof, and this desolate highway. So it does seem that there are plenty of locations, scenes, and features for this game that Tarsier Studios has barely shown us at all yet. So that is a relatively small update for this game, but something I thought was interesting enough to point out nonetheless. And although based on the amount of content we have gotten for this game so far, it will probably be quite some time before we are given anything else for it, I will make sure to keep you guys updated as we get more information about this new Tarsier Studios project in the future. So thanks for watching the video. I know I didn't upload much this month, but hey, I got a life, okay? So if you could honestly just subscribe to the channel, that would be a huge help. Like, just subscribe, why don't you? You know, it's not that hard. You could also join my Discord server. It's kind of dead right now, you know, it's a little 6 feet under. So if you could go join the Discord, I would really appreciate that. But apart from that, that's gonna be all for this video. And I'll post again soon, I promise. It might be a while. So that's it. Goodbye. See you in the next one.